Harry's Wife. Part 101.24. Don't forget about me. If I were to say to you, hey, 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 ooh, whoa, there'd be many of you who'd instantly recognize that as the opening to Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds, that appeared famously in The Breakfast Club. Well, Harry's wife is determined to ensure that none of you forget about her. Of course, at this time, when a nation and large sections of the world mourn the loss of Queen Elizabeth II, thus overshadowing considerably Harry's wife, it's necessary for her to fight back repeatedly against these threats to control, and she does so. Not by climbing to the top of Buckingham Palace, taking off her knickers if she's wearing any and waving them above her head and shouting, "Woohoo, check me out!" Nor is it a case of her deciding that she's going to hang off the side of Tower Bridge, singing some kind of song tribute to Nicki Minaj in order to draw attention and attempt to stop the traffic below. Narcissism isn't going to take her down that route, but believe me, there are certain narcissists that would engage in behaviours analogous to those that I've just described. And of course, where facing being usurped from attention, i.e. wounded with the threat to control and the loss of fuel, would respond in similarly dramatic ways in order to bring attention and fuel back to them. Harry's wife, as a mid-ranger, her style isn't to be as outrageous as that in terms of a sudden display of grandiose and outlandish behaviours. Instead, she deals more in the whisperings, the rumours that then are given traction and legs through the PR machine. And, of course, she's at it again. As a consequence of the overshadowing that she faces and the threat to control that comes with that, it necessitates her instructions to whichever relevant PR agency that's acting for her these days to find those supine publications and give them a call. "Hello, is that the editor of Town & Country? I've got some news for you." "Good afternoon. I'd like to speak to the editor of People.com. I have a little bit of tidbit of information that I think your viewers would be interested in." "Yes, we'll pay." And who is it that turns up on the wheel of helping out Harry's wife amongst the supine publications? Well, first up, it's Cosmopolitan, with an article by Greti Garcia that states, "Harry's wife cancelled a red carpet appearance in the wake of Queen Elizabeth II's funeral." Who gives a rat's ass about her cancelling a red carpet appearance? Fucking nobody cares. Of course, it behooves me to comment on it because it's been brought to my attention, to explain it to you through the narcissistic prism. However, it's a little bit like those people who announce that they're departing a blog, or the comments section, or the below-the-line section. You're not a fucking airport. You don't need to announce your departure. Just go. Fuck off. That's it. Toodle pip. You're not wanted. Cheerio. If you want to go, you can go. Nobody cares. But with Harry's wife, her narcissism tells her, you are very important. The world revolves around you. Nay, you are the centre of the universe. All planetary life would die were it not exposed to the knowledge of what you are doing, what you are contemplating doing, and what you have done. You must ensure that all individuals, be they from the lowliest ant up unto the most ethereal of the angels, be made aware of what you're up to. And as a consequence of that, driven by her narcissism encouraging her to tell the PR agencies that she's done this and she's done that, and of course, there will be some advice from those agencies that you need to get this out there to maintain your presence. Harry's wife does that. She could just cancel the appearance as she ought to do, demonstrating some respect. Not, of course, that she does so, because she's a narcissist, but at least give it the appearance of doing so. She could just cancel the appearance and be done with it. and it doesn't need to be reported on. Except for her, it does. Because the reportage of the cancellation enables her to nullify partially the threat to control, and certainly totally in the appropriate moment, and draw fuel from the responses. What does the article tell us? In the wake of Queen Elizabeth II's death last Thursday, Harry's wife has made the decision to cancel her September 28th appearance at a gala celebrating Variety magazine's forthcoming Power of Women issue. Despite her absence, the Duchess of Sussex will still be in good company and will be honoured alongside other cultural powerhouses, including Hillary Hinton, Oprah Winfrey, and Malala Yousafzai. Character trait acquisition. Per Hello and the Daily Star, the appearance could have given the Duchess an opportunity to speak alongside Hillary and Chelsea Clinton, facade management, character trait acquisition, about the tropes holding women back. Similar to the discussions on her Spotify podcast, Arsewipes, Harry's wife's speech was suspected to reference the amalgam of stereotypes imposed on women both personally and professionally. In her latest discussion on the podcast series with actor and comedian Mindy Kaling, Harry's wife opened up about how the latter theme had impacted on her own life, bringing up the past. This pod crap has already taken place, but she has to make reference to it in order to try and stay relevant, i.e. to assert control and draw fuel. Admitting she's been frustrated with people who constantly tell her how lucky she is that Prince Harry chose her after the pairing got engaged. See parts passing for analysis on that. But thankfully, I have a partner who is countering that narrative for me and going, "Oh, they've got it all wrong. I'm the lucky one because you chose me," Harry's wife said, before getting into the weeds of how deeply rooted that commentary is in gender and race. It is gendered, and it's archetyped and stereotyped that you're so lucky, and it just feeds into this idea that you're waiting for someone to tell you that you're good enough, as opposed to knowing that you're good enough on your own. Amen. Well, thanks for that, Cosmopolitan. On the heels of 3 successful first episodes, Arsewipes is now on a brief hiatus given the Queen's recent death. A message on the podcast Spotify page confirms new episodes of Arsewipes will be paused during the official mourning period for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. FYI, the period of royal mourning contains 7 days after the Queen's funeral on Monday, September the 19th. It's clear that the Duchess of Sussex, along with the rest of the family, is taking a step back to grieve, the recently deceased Queen, and will be continuing to pause projects, events, and other obligations to mourn her. This, of course, is facade management. It makes her look like she's being kind and caring, although we know that she's not capable of that. It is just an artifice. It's also being done to draw attention to herself once again. Look at me, I'm pausing things, I'm cancelling an attendance at an event, but I'm foreshadowing that event. So, I'm utilising that future event, triangulating you with that event by telling you about it for the purposes of causing a reaction, ensuring that you're around to look at my position as a power of women or whatever, and to manage the facade. So Cosmopolitan falls there as one of the supine publications, but it's not just them. People.com is at it also. Yes. In an article by Alexandra Schoenfeld, we're told Harry's wife's Variety magazine cover delayed in wake of Queen Elizabeth's death. Harry's wife's upcoming appearance on the cover of Variety magazine has been delayed. The Duchess of Sussex, 41, was chosen by the magazine as one of its honorees for the upcoming Power of Women issue, they announced Wednesday. Following Queen Elizabeth's death last week, however, the magazine announced that Harry's wife's cover was being held out of respect for the recent passing of Queen Elizabeth II. The outlet also said Harry's wife will not be attending the Power of Women event in Los Angeles on September the 28th. In the comments section, perhaps you'd like to tell me about events that you won't be attending. Perhaps you won't be attending making a maiden speech in the House of Commons as a Member of Parliament. Perhaps you won't be scoring a goal for a particular Premiership side this weekend. Perhaps you won't be climbing Everest. Let me know what you won't be doing, because just like Harry's wife, you're perfectly entitled to tell the world about what you're not doing in order to let them know what you're not doing. Undoubtedly, if I could be bothered to go and have a look, there will probably be other supine publications telling us all about the non-event of her not attending something. This, of course, is being done through the PR push as a consequence of the necessity of trying to deal with the threat to control posed by the continuing period of mourning for Queen Elizabeth, rather than being a decent individual and shutting up and getting on with it. Something we all know Harry's wife is completely incapable of doing. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.